Okay, I'm sure you guys have all been in a situation where you guys have gotten hurt in a sport or something and have been out and have to recuperate, or know of somebody that's a little overweight and they can't do the activities that somebody who's more fit can do. So I have a quote here from Homer. It says, "For too much rest itself becomes a pain." Reading this quote, the first two things that came to my mind was when I played soccer when I was younger. I dislocated my knee and I was out for about 3 months, and I just hated it. I had to be in bed rest. I had to elevate my leg. My knee was really swollen, and the doctor said I had to get surgery, but I didn't want to because then I would have to be out for longer. And another thing that came to my mind was, I don't know if you guys have seen a TV show where it's like 600-pound lives of people where they're really big and they're in the bed, and they haven't worked out like most of their lives, and they just put on so much weight. They've been eating so much, and they become really unhealthy. So these were the two things that came to my mind when I read this quote, and I'm going to go a little more in depth on both of them. So when I got injured in soccer, I was out for a pretty long time, and just seeing that my friends were playing, I wasn't able to play with them, it just really bummed me out. And the quote, "For too much rest itself becomes a pain," it really ties in with this because I just hated seeing that I couldn't do anything. I just had to lay in bed and get better in order to get back on the field. And then seeing those people also so overweight, it just sucks to see them that way. And I wish I could help them and help them become more healthier and see them be a better person and stuff. So this quote, it really reflects who I am, because I'm a really active person and I just hate not being able to do anything. And especially when I got into my motorcycle accident, I was out for a little bit, and it's a setback. And yeah, that's it.
All right, Marlene, the visualization that you started with was okay, but I'm not sure, like you said, that everybody will share the experience that you're talking about. I think it's okay to personalize it, and instead of trying to make it a universal, just to talk about your own experience, I think that would be okay. And then it's not going to feel like you're trying to, force people into a pattern that they may not fit into. Your thesis was pretty clear. You identify what the topic is and what your point of view on it is. I thought that was fine. It sounded like you had started the speech with your 2 examples, but it turns out that those are actually, you kind of pull back on it and turn those into a preview, and then you go back to the original point and try to develop it a little bit more. The problem is I didn't see that there was that much more development in that second point than there was in the original preview, and so as a consequence it feels a little bit repetitive, and I think that also was true later in the speech as well. I felt sometimes I was going over the same territory and sometimes even the same phrases in the support, so it's not building as effectively as it could be. Presentation issues, your voice is fine. I do think you could use a little bit more energy. You've got kind of I don't want to say the range of your voice is maybe a little bit narrower, and so you're going to have to do a couple of things to get some energy into it. Volume is one of those things. You pump it up a little bit, or speed would be another one of those things where you can change a little bit. So even if you have a voice that operates at a pretty narrow range, mine is like that. I've got a pretty narrow range in my voice. You got to do things to pick it up and energize it a little bit. Slow down sometimes, maybe drop the volume, that kind of thing. So a few things to maybe perk it up, because you're just kind of sitting in your sweet spot, and for a long period of time, that's going to be, I think, problematic. You've got to get the audience a little bit more engaged. Your body movement, you've got your feet crossed. You look a little anxious and nervous when you were speaking. You start that way from the beginning of the speech, and so you just look off-centered when you're presenting, and I think that that's a problem. I know that you will probably kick yourself about the exit on the speech. You just, I guess that's it. You had the Porky Pig exit, and we talk about trying to avoid that sort of thing. Just come back to the point you have at the beginning, and even if you just have to remind us of what the code is and say, and I think that's true, that's okay. That's better than just kind of bailing out, which is sort of what you did at the end. All right, thank you.